Some people do not stay up late because they love the night. They stay up late because sleep makes tomorrow feel too close. And tomorrow does not feel gentle. It feels like alarms, messages, deadlines, pressure, expectations. The version of you that has to be useful again. So even when your body is tired, some part of you still resists bedtime. Not because you are careless. Not because you enjoy being exhausted. But because the night feels like the last part of life that still belongs to you. That is why this keeps happening. You tell yourself, tonight I'm sleeping early. Then it is 1:13, then 2:07, then 2:46. You are still on your phone, still watching, still scrolling, still thinking, still doing anything except letting the day end. From the outside, people make it sound simple. Just go to bed. Put the phone down. Be more disciplined. But for a lot of people, staying up late is not really about sleep. It is about freedom. Yes, part of it can be biological. Some people are naturally wired later. Their internal clock runs behind the schedule the world rewards. They get sleepy later. They wake up slower. They think more clearly at night. They feel most alive when everyone else is already winding down. That part is real. But it is not the whole story. Because even people who are not true night owls can become deeply attached to the night. Why? Because the night gives them something the day never does. Silence, distance, and the rare feeling that nobody needs anything from them. During the day, your attention gets pulled apart. Work wants something. School wants something. Family wants something. Your phone wants something. The world keeps reaching into your mind and taking a piece of you. So the day fills up, but it still does not feel like yours. That is the strange part. You can be busy all day and still feel like you never really got to exist inside your own life. You were productive. You were available. You were responsive. But you were not free. Then night arrives. The house gets quieter. The messages slow down. The social world loosens its grip. No one is urgently pulling on your attention. No one is asking who you need to be. And that feeling is hard to let go of. Because what many people are really attached to is not the phone, not the show, not the game, not even the scrolling itself. It is the feeling of finally not being claimed, finally not being interrupted, finally not being on call for the world. That is why just one more becomes so powerful at night. Just one more episode, just one more video, just one more round, just one more scroll. Those things are not always that important. What matters is what they protect. They keep the night alive. They stretch the only hours that feel emotionally yours. And once you see that, bedtime starts to look different. Because going to sleep is not just going to sleep. Going to sleep means tomorrow gets a turn. That is the part people rarely admit. A lot of late-night resistance is not really resistance to sleep. It is resistance to re-entry. To the morning, to obligation, to being reachable again, to becoming useful again, to stepping back into the version of life that has been wearing you down. So you stay up a little longer, not in some dramatic way, in a quiet way, a tired little protest, a soft refusal. Not yet. Give me one more hour before the world gets me back. That is why so many people who stay up late are not even enjoying themselves. They are not thriving. They are not fully relaxing. They are just lingering, half tired, half alert, half numb, doing almost nothing yet still unable to sleep. Because ending the night feels worse than losing the sleep. And there is another layer to this. For some people, the night is not only when the world stops talking, it is when their own mind finally starts. Daytime can keep you too busy to feel, too active to notice yourself, too distracted to hear what is really happening inside you. Then night comes, the noise drops, and suddenly your inner world gets louder. Thoughts you pushed away all day come back. Feelings you delayed all day catch up. Little worries get bigger. Old disappointments start echoing. Questions you did not have time to ask yourself finally show up. This is why some people feel most creative at night. It is also why some people feel most anxious at night. Because silence does two things. It gives you room, and it removes your distractions. So the night becomes two things at once, a refuge and a mirror. It is where some people finally feel like themselves, and where some people can no longer avoid themselves. That is why late nights can feel strangely emotional, even when you are doing something small and pointless. You are not just wasting time. You are decompressing, processing, avoiding, soothing, delaying, sometimes all at once. And then the pattern turns into a loop. At first, the night helps you. It gives you space after a day that took too much. It gives you a little control back, a little peace, a little selfhood. But morning collects the price. You wake up foggy, heavier, more irritable, less focused, less emotionally steady. The day feels harder because you are already under-rested, so you move through it in survival mode. And when you live that way all day, of course, the night becomes even more precious, because now you need relief even more. That is how the refuge slowly becomes the trap. The habit that protects your sanity starts quietly draining it. You use the night to recover from a life that feels too demanding. But the sleep loss makes that same life even harder to carry. So the next night feels even more necessary, even more sacred, even harder to end. And the worst part is, most people already know this. They know tomorrow will hurt more. They know they will regret it in the morning. They know they are tired. But emotionally, staying awake still feels easier than letting go. Because staying awake feels like holding on to something. A little peace, a little control, a little delay before becoming available again. So no, staying up late does not automatically mean you are lazy. It does not automatically mean you are broken. And it does not always mean you simply lack discipline. Sometimes it means your natural rhythm runs later than the world allows. Sometimes it means your nervous system only softens when everything finally gets quiet. And sometimes it means your life takes so much from you during the day that the night has become the only place where you still feel emotionally real. That is the part worth paying attention to. Because the real question is not only, how do I sleep earlier? The deeper question is, why does the night feel like the only place where I can breathe? Why does bedtime feel like a loss instead of relief? Why does tomorrow feel so heavy that I need to postpone it? Why do I only seem to meet myself after midnight? Sometimes the answer is your chronotype. Sometimes it is stress. Sometimes it is emotional backlog. Sometimes it is weak boundaries. Sometimes it is the simple fact that too much of your day belongs to everyone except you. And if that is true, more self-hatred will not fix it. More shame will not fix it. Calling yourself lazy will not fix it. Maybe what you need is not harsher discipline first. Maybe you need clearer honesty first. Maybe you need to admit that the night is doing emotional work for you. Maybe you need more room earlier in the day. More boundaries. More moments that are not for productivity. More time where nobody gets access to you. Because if your only real sense of relief begins when the whole world goes dark, that says something important about your life, not just your sleep schedule. So if you are someone who always stays up late, maybe you are not just chasing the night. Maybe you are trying to hold on to the only part of life that still feels like yours. And that does not make you weird. But it is worth asking what exactly you are looking for in those hours. Peace? Silence? Control? Creativity? Emotional space? Or just one more hour before tomorrow becomes real? Let me know in the comments. Do you stay up late because that is when you feel most awake? Because it is finally quiet? Because it is the only time that feels like yours? Or because going to sleep makes tomorrow feel too real? And if this felt a little too accurate, like subscribe and send it to the person who says, I'm sleeping early tonight, and somehow still shows up online at 3 a.m.